church. So that's what the battle is about. The result I find is curious because there are some U.S. Supreme Court decisions that say you can't exclude groups like that if you're letting everyone else in. The Second Circuit said it's a limited public forum. You cannot ban religious speech, religious instruction, religious discussions, or religious worship, but you can ban religious worship services. The Second Circuit says that that is not viewpoint discrimination, but content-based discrimination. If anyone is clever enough to explain that fine distinction to me, see me afterwards. It'll be very interesting to see what the U.S. Supreme Court does with that one. I don't want to take much more time. I'm getting near the end here. I just want to mention release time programs, which are very interesting, a little unusual. That is where the student will leave the public school and walk across the street for an hour of Bible instruction. We typically think of it, at least in this state, as being something that the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints does, but there are also a number of Catholic and Protestant ones across the country. That is perfectly constitutional with certain restrictions. It can't be a public school teacher teaching it. The way they calculate the credit has to not get the school very entangled in it. There may not be able to be credit because of that. I wanted to finish up this section. I thought it might be helpful to explain, as we have a dialogue, what are evangelicals afraid of and what do they want? Well, they don't actually want a church-run state. Trust me on this. Especially if you look at Protestants. I mean, the Catholics kind of stick together, but the Protestants keep protesting and splintering and dividing. We don't want to get together with any of the rest of them to run the country. No thanks. What evangelicals are afraid of is the idea that religion will be completely excluded from the public square, that somehow it will be improper or in poor taste or a faux pas to have any kind of religious discussion. And in many, many other countries, in some of which I've lived, you can exercise as freely as you want in your home or in your church. But by golly, you better not make any public statements and you better not talk to somebody in the line at the grocery store or you could be in serious trouble, cause a riot, end up dead. Well, we're not actually afraid of ending up dead here, but the scorn and contempt factor is part of it, and the whole argument that you shouldn't be allowed to make any statements about religion, and that if religion is that marginalized, it's sending a signal into the kids in schools that it's really not important, that it's an hour-a-week thing you do on Sunday. And so hence back to the prayer banner. That's what drives the emotion. If our Heavenly Father, very generically, cannot even be on a wall where it's been for 25 years, what is that telling our kids about the place of religion and whether God should be in one little sliver in one little hour once a week? And that may help you understand when you hear the passion, that's what they're afraid of. And I just want to finish by lightening things up a little as I was writing the article that you'll get later. Now, law articles are generally pretty boring, so read it right before you're going to bed so it puts you right off. But I did have a little bit more humor in it, which they took out. So I'm going to read you one verse of the Lobster Quadrille, which is how I think of the free exercise and establishment clauses as a dance with each other. So the fish is talking to the snail. "What matters it how far we go?" his scaly friend replied. "There is another shore, you know, upon the other side. The farther off from England, the nearer is to France. So turn not pale, beloved snail, but come and join the dance. Will you, won't you, will you, won't you join the dance?"